Today's topic is all about how to stay high vibe and navigate the current global climate, right? So that you can be the change, so you can inspire that change that you wish to see in the world. And I know that this year is extra intense for many, as there's been so many different global events happening. I'm in the United States, so we have the added election tensions going on. And I think that actually even that's affecting people in other countries, right? There's just such a polarity happening. And so I'm going to go ahead and open up my Facebook Live here on for Facebook as well. So as we go along, I'd love to have this be interactive. I'm going to start out and just kind of give you a brief overview, but this is the topic I wanted to share a little bit about, because I think that it's literally kind of an energetic boot camp that we are in this year, but it's actually in a lot of ways exciting, because at the end of the day, we are doing some major transformation work, right? And as we do that work for ourselves, we get to see the change in the world. It's like we're in this huge, dark collective dark night of the soul for the whole globe in many ways. And so the exciting thing that I know on the other side of that is that there's actually the change that can happen, right? We can't build from a faulty foundation. And so what we're seeing is just a very extreme polarizations of all the different things in health, with our finances, with the Me Too movement, with the Black Lives Matter movement, with the racism, the judgment, the repressed abuse that people have gone through. So there's many different things and many different levels of trigger really that's happening amongst our societies today. And at the end of the day, these things did need to come up to surface to be healed. And so I'm going to share a little bit about how you can really be that change for yourself as well. There we go. Now I got to see the comments. No, this is the old one. Oh, there we go. Okay. Hey, Hope. Super excited. Janet. Erica, Gina, great. Okay, so now I got you guys on both ends. I'll try to keep a watch on both of those chats. So today I want to share with you 5 steps, some ways that you can really empower yourself through these times, to navigate these times. And we all have different areas that this is affecting us more personally and more intensely. And these tools are really actually going to be helpful, I feel, for any types of situation. Even if you have worked a lot of energy and you're not particularly triggered on what's going on around you, then awesome job. But these are all still very powerful tips that you can utilize anytime you go through a period of time where you are recognizing that you're feeling overwhelmed by the energy. And I know that this is especially true for empaths and highly sensitive and intuitive people, right? And those of you that identify with wanting to having a life purpose that's really affecting humanity and to create some healing and some change in the world with your own unique gifts, right? I know many of us, or many that are attracted to me as well as myself, we're the light workers and change agents, and we feel that inner soul's calling to be a support within our own way to create these changes. And yet in the process of that, when we are overwhelmed, sometimes the energy can bog us down and we start to feel overwhelmed or spin in procrastination or get into our own triggers and are unable to really affect that change, right? In some ways that can also look like just getting into the social media and fighting and like being in that space of engaging from the hate or from the judgment, and just feeling and just having that space just start to be in that energy that keeps everything locked in, right? In that moment, we're not actually elevating the energy. And I know that's easier said than done at times, for sure. And it's all a growth and we don't have to be perfect. But as soon as we really recognize how we can really step into that light and be the change and hold the frequency as those leaders, really, for our own life as well as for others, then that's really, really powerful. So I'm going to share a little bit about that. I'm going to have 5 steps that really I see that you can do to navigate yourself through that. And then we're going to do a short guided visualization, right? If you're listening to this in present time, it is on the cusp. We just had a new moon, so it's a powerful time to really use this energy. But also just setting your intention for the rest of our call, because I'm going to be doing a live group collective, or like an aura reading on the collective energy. So these aren't like personal minis. individual reading requests, but it's rather I'm going to be reading the collective, like what are the biggest matches, what is the most common pictures or most important pictures that need to be spoken of out loud and worked through energetically for those that are feeling called to watch this, whether live or the replay. And it's really powerful because if you haven't had one of these aura readings or you haven't seen me do these before, it's creating an energetic shift just in that moment. And a lot of times people feel like it's speaking directly to them. So that'll be really powerful. And that creates an energy healing along the way. It's something that I'm teaching my students in the Soul Success Unleashed program as well. I'm also going to share just a tidbit about my energetic mastery course. It's actually Energetic Mastery digital course. I'm just going to share just a tad bit about that. I have an extra special promotion going on right now where you save a whole $100. So it makes it really accessible of just $197 or 2 payments of $111. And these foundational tools are life-changing. They're a game changer for empaths and highly sensitive and intuitive people. They're really a game changer for everyone, but I noticed that the highly sensitives are really they get overwhelmed. And as soon as we have these types of powerful tools that I teach in that program and course, you are able to just shake off. You don't have to match the energy of that around you. And you can really access your intuition at a greater level and be that conscious creator. So it's a really, really powerful course. I'm going to share just a little bit about that. I have some great bonuses that go with it. But most of the time, it's going to actually be the reading and the healing work, because I know that that is what you're here for. And that is what I want to be of service in sharing today. So that is where we are at. Okay. Hey, Cheryl, Kathy. Awesome. Deb. So the first thing I want to share is, part of the, and let me know, have you felt at all overwhelmed this year during this course of events, right? There's many different levels of things that have been going on for people. And you can share, is it about some people are extremely feeling lit up on losing their freedom. Some people are feeling isolated and alone and depressed, not being able to see their family and friends. Others are afraid for their health or for their loved one's health, right? Others have financially experienced like, oh my gosh, I'm not making money in the way that I was normally used to being able to, right? There's so many different levels of things. And so if you've been feeling any of those things, I'd love to hear personally. But the beautiful thing about this is that this is actually creating an ability for change. And then I think the bigger level is just the injustices, right? There's so many different levels of things going on in the polarization in terms of, of judgment, of racism, of all different types of things that have been showing to the surface. And again, as I kind of stated in the beginning, these are all things that needed to rise, right? These things have been there, and it's not going to change at the beginning of the year. They're not just going to go away. They weren't created overnight, and they're not going to go away overnight. They're manifestations of a much deeper collective issues, really, right? That we have carried through many, many, many different lines of reincarnations, right? This goes way back. And so that is really important to, I think, understand, because otherwise we start to give our power away and we start to feel lost and overwhelmed in the energy of it all. And that doesn't feel good, right? And we're not able to create the effective change that we wish to see in the world. And so the first step around this that I wanted to share is you got to find your sovereignty, right? It's like putting the oxygen mask on first, it's that cliche, but it's very true, right? We have to find our sovereignty. From the collective energy, we have to find our own energetic space from all that's happening, that's going on around us. Otherwise, how we're unconsciously programmed is to just match the energy, of our Facebook feeds, of our family beliefs, of, or maybe we were butting against our family beliefs, right? It could be many things, but we're oftentimes, if we're not conscious of it, we will begin to match the energy of those around, or the most dominant energy that's taking place, which is a bit lower vibration, right? It's anger, it's judgment, it's hate, it's blame, it's victim, all of this stuff. And if we get caught in the crossfires of that, which I think as an empath and sensitive, we're recognizing that, it can be debilitating. Right? It can create depression. It can create anxiety. It can just create us to not really be able to have the energy or motivation to take action on those things that we desire. Right? So you can let me know if you've felt any of that. And again, even if it's not this global scenario, which I just am speaking to because I just see it so much in the Facebook, right? Even just in Facebook feeds or on the news or the TV or really anywhere you go, people are talking about their opinions or their judgments about things that are how they feel. And sometimes from a position, no, that is not healing. And so the second thing that we need to do is find our awareness, right? Is to have that awareness of that deeper trigger or storyline that is shining the light on these deeper wounds within us, right? As we're entering into the age of Aquarius, right? I think as we're moving into this evolution as a collective, as we're going into this raising our frequency, if you're in the spiritual world from the 3D to the 5D, right? All of this stuff really does need to be cleaned up and cleaned out. And in that way, it's a very powerful opportunity for fast and rapid transformation if we can have our space within it, if we can allow ourselves to work through it and not just become the effect of it, which is I see a lot that happens sometimes, right? Especially for sensitives, well, for anybody really, if you're unconscious to it. And so having the awareness of that deeper storyline, being able to zoom out and have that spiritual perspective of what is really going on for you, right? That's bigger than the storyline. Now, I'm not minimizing any of the things that are going on because there are major topics, right? There's major faults. Faulty foundation is crumbling, right? And it needs to, and it looks messy before it creates the space for the change. But how can we zoom out from the collective growth, freak out, right? And find our own sovereignty first within it so that then we can have that second step of really finding our awareness of what's actually going on here. What am I actually triggered within beyond this particular storyline, right? What is it that's within me? And so when we start to take the time to track back that truth with like what's really going on here, that's beyond anything that's actually happening, what's that core wounding, that's when we get to start to really create the change. Now, the sovereignty from the collective energy, this is actually where the energetic mastery tools that I'll share with you in that course, in my course, will help you, because you have to be able to connect above and below, flush it out. There's other ways you can do this, but that is what that is for, is to help you unmatch from the collective energy. Use your energy tools in your morning success routine, right? Using your meditation tools and your practices. And there's many practices that we can use to really find our center, clear out everybody else's stuff so that we can actually get neutral and find the truth in that awareness of what's actually going on within us that is outside of the collective drama that is unfolding, right? That's an important step. And then the step 3 comes in where we can actually transmute that pain, right? Or transmute that judgment, or transmute that separation that we have going on, right? That's where we can start to transform the anger or the victim or the wounding into that passion, right? That's where we get to start to shift and raise our vibration really through this transmutation process of taking responsibility of like our own frequency, looking at this as an opportunity to actually transform and change. So let me know if this is resonating with you or if this is making sense. So as we get to do that, we are now being the agents of change. We're really stepping into our role as a light worker, right? As a human that is actually creating effective change. Because we can't, if we're stuck in our pain, we're locked in. It's a lot of third chakra, solar plexus energy starts happening in that 3D kind of like, no, I'm right, you're wrong. There's all this seething judgment. Even if you're fighting for what you think is right from that energy, it's not going to create any change. And it's going to drain you and you're going to feel miserable, right? We can't convince anybody in that way. And it's not going to shift from that energy. And so this is where the transmutation process of sometimes, turning off the news for a minute. I'm not suggesting we bury our head in the sands, but if you're feeling overwhelmed, sometimes, getting off Facebook feed for a minute or snoozing some people or unfriending those who are just kind of in such a degree that you can't function if it's that overwhelming, right? Because I've seen a lot of people in that space. But however you choose to do it, even if you take a little detox break, right? Or just start to choose to have that awareness and position of, I'm going to take my power back from the government. I'm taking my power back from this negativity. I'm going to take my power back from where I've been giving it. And I'm going to just look within and use this as an opportunity to really heal and grow and expand myself, because that is how you're going to be the change, right? And so that is the step forward. We changed that. We started to transmute our own inner shadow in a big way. There's lots of opportunity this year, right? And then step four is really being the change, right? This is where we get to start to anchor in that light. As we do that, we are raising our vibration, right? We're anchoring that light all the way down. And this is actually where another aspect of the Energetic Mastery course is really allowing you to ground at a deep level, because the issue is, as we expand and awaken and start to transmute energy and we ascend our spiritual understanding and raise our consciousness and have these awakenings that we're all going through at different levels, we have to be able to ground and open up and actually anchor that light all the way down into through our entire body, really anchoring that pillar of light from the center of Gaia up through source up, like really anchoring that energy in. And then we are now, just by our frequency, just by our energy, starting to change the world. We're starting to actually emit a vibration that is risen above the conflict and the judgment and the hate and the pain and the anger and the polarization. And we're actually in a frequency that just by being, we are healing those around us, right? You don't have to even say a word. And this is actually kind of a side note as to why a lot of people on this path want to travel and do things, and part of it is to drop and anchor our energy in different parts of the world and be that effective change, right? Which is kind of awesome and really fun. But that is an important step, right? That from this energy now, that once we kind of transmuted our own stuff and kind of can rise above in that way, now we're not stuck in that polarization trying to convince or change or argue or fight our way through, because again, that's just the other end of the issue, is keeping things stuck. Right. And so we are now anchoring in that light. And so then step 5, that is where we can be the change. That is where we can actually inspire others to change. Right. This is where we're leading by example, but it starts with our energy. It starts with our energy. How much light can we actually anchor in and hold? And how much of this can we actually transmute within ourselves? Because it's always the macro and the micro, right? And so this is where we can really stand and create that change. And this is where you might be inspired to, one of these topics at hand, you will be activating, but you'll be activating from a space of inspiring that change by leading by example, right? And because we can't create that change from the energy that created the mess to begin with. And so that's where the inner work is really the largest part of the work, so that we can walk in that new energy and allow that beacon to support others in having rapid change and healing when they're ready, if they so choose to, right? And that's going to be, everyone's got their free will of choice for sure, but it will start to create that change for people, and they may not even have the awareness of it, but it'll start to give them the awareness of it, right? Which is really, really powerful. And that's when you're going to start to feel inspired. You'll start to have the energy back and the motivation back. And, fear manifests as procrastination or depression or anxiety, all these things like we want to do, but maybe you haven't had the energy to do, right? So when we're anchored in our light and we're actually aligning with our higher purpose, and we're being able to now speak our truth and inspire that change, that is where, the blogs or the posts or the way in which you say something now is actually going to be healing and elevating those around you. Right. And so that is really, really, really powerful. And I think that all these steps are really powerful, whether we're just navigating our own inner landscape in a relationship dynamic or a family dynamic, or on this global level, because I don't believe this is not just going to change in the United States with a new president in the beginning of the year, right? This is far beyond and bigger than that. And so it's important that we keep working the energy for ourselves first, so that we can help the collective and the consciousness really have an easier, more smooth time of this awakening process that we're all being called through. Does that make sense? I'm staying grounded and holding the light. Awesome. I just made the decision to not I think watch TV is what it's saying. Yeah, I think sometimes we can just get really stuck in it, right? And it's not to say that some of the things aren't like, what, a little maddening, but this is where we get to keep ourselves in check and like, but am I actually affecting the change I want to create? And it starts, we can't do that from that other frequency. Some days I feel like it's all happening, and then other days it'll be so hard and I feel like it will never change. Yeah, I feel like this has been so intense. Like I couldn't even imagine. And from my perspective, I get it, and it probably still will be an unfolding for sure. But this feels like such a catalyst for massive change on such a quicker level. For me, in the last 11 years, I'm like, is the world really going to have an awakening? This feels like a humongous, I feel like in the next 2 to 3 years, a lot of people, and even at the end of this year, like it's just going to be a unfolding of a lot of people beginning to awaken more and more and more as this happens. And we have a lot of people on the planet. So, it'll be a ripple effect that keeps unfolding. But the more people that can start to anchor in this light, right? Be the way shower, be the leader through example, and mostly it starts with our energy, is going to affect the change even more quickly, right? And we as a planet, we all have free will of choice. And so the only thing we really truly have power over is our own energy and our own decisions and our own thinking and way of being and how we show up. And I think collectively we can make a really big change very quickly if we can do that, which is really exciting on some levels, right? So that's what I wanted to share there. I hope that some of those tips are helpful for you. Let me know where you're at within that process, right? Are you still kind of matching the energy of everyone? And I think that it's kind of not always just quite so linear. Sometimes we bounce in and out of it, right? But just recognizing what stage you're at allows you to say, okay, I'm really overwhelmed. I'm just my unconscious coping patterns, and I just can't do anything. Okay, find your sovereignty, right? Find your energy from the collective. Use your energy tools and your meditation tools and your practices to now first unmatch from that collective and find your own space. Then do that deeper work. Or maybe you're in the deeper work, but maybe you need a little bit of support in transmuting that anger, right? Or so it's like you kind of notice where you're at within it as to what steps you can take in order to get to that next, to kind of raise your own frequency and heal yourself, which is in turn what is going to require to help others to heal. To wake up to my 10s, 10 loves to do, 10 gratitudes, 10 desires. Love that. Yes, I think the morning's routine is so essential. And so I'm just going to share actually a quick minute on the Energetic Mastery Program, because I had just recently enhanced the whole thing and upgraded it all. There are 8 spiritual tools that you'll be learning. And some of them can seem basic, but once you learn this style of grounding, pretty much I've worked with people who have been doing energy work and healing work for sometimes 20 years and go, wow, I didn't realize I wasn't really very grounded, right? So these energy healing tools all come with an attunement to help you really amplify the effects of your ability to ground into your body, to connect with the planet, use the healing vibrations above and below to energetically cleanse and clear out your space of others. When we do this, this is where we start using, I teach you to use your intuition now. When we clear it out, your intuition is going to just pop open quite a bit more. And the tools and practices will also support you in awakening and starting to utilize your intuition as a way to be that conscious creator. Right? So there's also some communication tools in there that you will learn how to energetically set your intentions and move out the energy blocks. So you'll start to be able to be your own reader and healer in a sense of clearing out what's not working, what's in the way of you really energetically being able to step into this thing so it can manifest physically, because everything starts as energy. And so it's a really powerful program. It's $100 off right now. Plus you're going to get the entire, and it's digitally based. So you can do it at your own pace. It's a membership site. It has short video trainings, a workbook with alignment activities, and a guided healing meditation. And the tools layer upon each other. Now, the beauty of this style of meditation embodied practice that's different is that I want you to be able to walk. The idea is that you're going to be walking through life anchoring in that pillar of light. You're going to be able to, this isn't something that you just listen to the meditation and feel better. Like when you listen to a healing or listen to a recording, you feel really great in that moment, or when you're doing your morning routine, you feel great, and then you go out in the world and you've lost it. This is energetically helping you to be able to strengthen your own energy field so that you're walking through life with that higher light. Right. And that's something that it's different than a lot of majority of the types of practices that I have found and used myself. And it's really, really powerful. People have called it a life changer, game changer. And I know it is for me too. I've been using these style of tools and they've evolved over time. And that's where these attunements have come in to help you now not ground at 10%, but 20% and help it evolve with you. Because as we ascend our energy, we have to ascend our grounding or expand our grounding as well. And then we have to be able to anchor that light in, right? And so it's really a powerful course. There's also 2 bonuses, the master classes I know many people wanted, which is around the ancestral healing. It's about healing the mother wound and healing the father wound. There's 4 hours, probably more, a little bit more than 4 hours worth of masterclass calls. There's 2 calls and then 2 aura readings and clearings on the topic, plus some guided alignment activation healings that go with each topic as well as a free bonus, which is really powerful and worth almost basically the price of the course. So I just wanted to share a little bit about that, and I'll put that information in the links there for you, or you could probably see it if you're on Facebook and other places where those have been. So let me share that really quickly, and then we're going to dive into the energy work. And so you guys can copy and paste this here on Zoom. It'll also be in your email. And I'll also share on the Facebook when I'm done. I'm not on my computer on Facebook, I don't think. So I don't know if I'll be able to do that right this moment. Yeah, I'm not going to worry about that right now, Facebookers. We'll get back there. Zoom people can go to that link and not lose Zoom. Facebook people will lose it, and you guys want to stay focused for this part. So let's go ahead and Maribel says extremely emotional. Yes, I know. Dave said makes perfect sense, and Raman got awesome. You're using your daughters. Okay, perfect. Thank you for letting me know. It's very hard as empaths to feel the fear all around. I find for myself, I spend a lot of time playing games with my grandchildren, laughing as much as possible. That's huge, right? The inner child, that playful inner child is, oh my gosh, such magic, right? And kids are always very present. That's another thing about the course that I'm teaching, or just meditation practice in general, is being very present. When you're in the moment present, whether you're playing or painting or meditating, your energy is not in the future worrying, right? Anxiety comes from being in the future, living not in the present, in the future possibilities of what could or should or may become, which sometimes end up as manifesting self-prophecy that you don't want, right? But it didn't have to be, because we can always change that in the present moment. And in the past is the guilt, the shame, the regret, the unforgivenesses, right? So both of those things keep us away from being able to anchor our energy in the present and actually change, because there's always a point of option to change. And I love that you see that as yourself, as that's a healing, and it's huge, it's powerful. And the other thing I want to say that brings up to me from that comment is, you can, like, as an empath, that's part of the issue. That's where I actually go, taking these energetic mastery tools as the foundation for my Soul Success Unleashed program, because it's foundational and important, and this will help you have your sovereignty and your energy within it. We don't actually need to process. The empath, an unhealthy coping pattern, is processing everybody else's feelings and emotions around us through our body, and we don't need to do that. And actually, it's not very helpful to do that. Now, our own energy, we may have to feel that, but it will move through very quickly. But when we're managing everybody else's energy, which is usually what's happening when we're really overwhelmed, is not actually healing it for anybody. It's a codependent energy exchange with others that doesn't allow them to actually be responsible for their own healing and energy, and then keeps us stuck in it. And we can't change it because it's not even ours to fix, right? And so that's where that is a huge thing. And the Soul Success Unleashed program is where we really learn about the clairvoyance and finding our neutrality, and reading and looking at energy from a spiritual perspective, so that you're not actually having to process all of the stuff through your physical body. And that also comes through some past life stuff, like being a shaman. That's how maybe we used to do healing work many eons and lifetimes ago, but it doesn't actually work. It limits. It will limit how much you can heal yourself if you have to actually process in that way all the time. And again, most of the time, a lot of the time, it's other people's fear, pain, and emotions or grief that we're running through our system as well. Wow, I was just thinking about codependency, and I feel responsible to fix everyone and everything. I was tired and drained. Makes so much sense. Awesome. Yes. Well, I'm glad that you recognize, all these awarenesses start clicking. It's really, really powerful. And that is, exactly why I made the Energetic Mastery course, because I, as an empath, was extremely overwhelmed. And I just like, oh my gosh, okay, we can find our space from it. And we can, but it takes that awareness first. And then it takes discipline and practice, right? If just using the tools maybe 10 or 15 minutes in the morning each day will change your life, seriously. And then you make you a conscious creator, which is really powerful. So you'll want to use them for longer. Okay, so let's dive into the healing. Or I'm going to do a quick meditation. So if you're able, if you're driving, just kind of, don't close your eyes, obviously. But if you can tune in and close your eyes as we just sort of set the energy together. And then I'm going to work into reading some of the biggest matching pictures. We'll see if I do each layer of the aura or just kind of pick out some of the strongest collective pictures amongst you all that will help you shift your energy, right? So where's the programming from the family or from whatever, from society, or the pain that's actually keeping you stuck and not being able to raise your frequency. And then we'll do some clearing work sometimes while we go along. But again, you're always got free will of choice. So you can say, yes, you want to receive it, or don't receive it. Just listen. It's up to you. Yeah, so that's what we'll do. So let's go ahead and close our eyes if you can. And just start to find your center. Just really tune into your body. And begin to take those nice, deep, cleansing breaths in. And exhale. Another nice, deep breath in. And exhale. Beautiful. So go ahead and allow yourself to just feel that grounding, right? That connection that you have, that's always there actually. But the more conscious of this connection we have with the earth and really connecting with Gaia, that is more powerful, right? So creating that conscious connection with the planet, really allowing that grounding to be present between you and the earth. Really opening that grounding support nice and wide. And really allowing that Earth's energy to really be a healing for you. So you can just start to connect with that Earth's energy, allowing that crystalline healing vibration to move through your field and really connect you from your physical body into that energetic body and expanding into that higher, more truth of who you are. And really connecting above as well, just creating that conscious decision to call in your higher self, bringing your higher self forward, really connecting with source, really creating that alignment above and below. Beautiful. And really just calling in your spiritual support team. I always like to call in my spiritual support team when I'm doing energy work or just throughout my day. You know, your angels, Archangel Michael, or any guide that you feel present with. And I want you to just visualize for a moment, start to set your intention for what is it you're stepping into, you know, that next level. Here we are, maybe 2021 or a couple months out, and you're really standing firm in your power. You're really living that next level, that higher vision that you have for yourself, right? What does your day look like? And I want you to really set this intention and visualize this as though it's happening in present time. Witnessing and feeling how that feels, noticing all areas of your life, right? How do you feel mentally? How do you feel spiritually? Emotionally? And physically? And just notice, you know, what is it that you're doing? How are you spending your time and your energy, your money perhaps? Like, what are you doing when you're really living in that highest alignment of who you are as a soul, right? In your relationships, in your business, if you feel called to be sharing your gifts in the world in some way, or even the work that you're currently doing. It doesn't have to be your own business or your relationships. And I want you to start to set your intention now too for our time together. So what is it? If you're aware of a particular pattern or fear or feeling that you want to shift or move out of, to help support you to anchor in this new light and to anchor in at this next level and be that change in your own life and in your business or in the world that you wish to be. And just start to set your intention now, either what you want to step into, more confidence or clarity, action, maybe getting that book written, whatever your thing is. And also what you want to let go of, right? Just start to energetically set your intention. Again, with your live or replay, I'm going to be reading for both, looking at that energy. Beautiful. And just now start to set that, release that intention. Just tune back into your body again one more time, really anchoring in that vision that you have for yourself. Just take another nice deep breath in. And if you'd like, you can go ahead and open your eyes. I'm going to keep my eyes closed because the style of reading that I'm doing is a clairvoyant reading where I'm just really literally reading the energy that's present. The biggest collective matches between you all of what's working, what you're creating, what energy is going to help you step into it, as well as what it is that you are either being held back by, stuck in, or being called to let go of or shift, right? So we're just going to simply look at it. I speak in colors. They don't mean anything in particular. They change from layer to layer. And as I do this, I'm speaking spirit to your higher self. So I'm just going to take a second and find my energy space. All right, so I'm just going to walk through and see what is coming up. I'll start in the layers of the aura and we'll see how we go. Sometimes it takes a life of its own and just shows me pictures, but I'm going to start with that first layer because that is the layer that's loosely correlated to our soul, our root chakra, and a lot of survival energy is stored there. A lot of information from our parents, genetic information gets passed down, and so I know that's a lot of the energy that gets stuck. So let's look at that area. I see a vibration of orange that's working, and what that's representing is, what's helping you really step into your vision, your next level, whatever your intention is creates a lot more creativity. It's a connection. I love how that already came up earlier with a comment, about that inner child connection, that inner play, really connecting with your creativity and just allowing, it's almost like it's just really stepping into this ability to really dance with life. Right? To bring in more play and more fun into your life, into your work, into your business, into your relationships. But also it's this ability of really mastering that daily dance of allowing that feminine energy that we all have. We all have masculine and feminine energy, and we need both. We really do need both. But it's allowing that highest exaltation of that feminine energy to dance with our masculine and really be able to navigate our energy, right? It's about really being able to take an action from that more inspired space and less about the shoulds. And so that's what I see is part of what's being released right now is a lot of the shoulds and expectations, or perhaps that's still holding as kind of a block. Everyone reading collective group energy, some people may have been knowing they're working on this, and some people might go, oh, that's maybe where I'm at. But this brown and this black is representing a lot of the shoulds. It's representing a lot of preconceived ideas about what it takes to make money, what's required of you, what's your particular gender role, what is it, the limitations that are there that have been passed down through society, through family, through religion, through all different types of programming that says you need to do something a certain way. And where you as a spirit are connected to that higher truth of who you are, and you're like, this sucks, this is not fun. I don't want to do it that way. But then there's this sense of either not trusting to do it your own way or to do it differently, or maybe not yet giving yourself permission. And that's really the shift that I see happening. And that can look and manifest differently in terms of how you set your schedule, what's your day, what you're in, what you can charge or do if you're in your own business, how you think you need to or should do it, right? Doing it right. There's all these rules that are being, it's like you've been evaluating and kind of sifting through and recognizing, hey, you know what, that's not even really working for me, or that isn't really my belief too. So there is a lot of also awarenesses around family programming that are being released at this time. I'm going to go ahead and start here with a quick, if you want to receive it, you can say yes in your mind. If you don't, you won't. But it is, I'm going to run a tool that I teach in my Unleashed program. Well, I'm going to do two things. I'm going to run first an energy alignment just to be running called Ground Align Connect. And that is an alignment activation you actually do get attuned to in the Energetic Mastery course to run for yourself. But I'm going to go ahead and run that energy first because it creates a spiritual cleansing and flushing and really amplifies your connection above and below so that you can release more during this time. So I'm going to go ahead and run that energy now. You can just open your crown chakra if you'd like to receive it and allow yourself to allow that energy to just kind of trickle throughout your physical and energetic space. And again, really amplifying that connection, creating that energy flush to help you let go. And the next tool I'm going to work with right now is more in my Soul Success Unleashed course, and it's called Deactivate and Elevate. And it's really specific to helping you release programming, right? These programmings and beliefs that are not really of your highest good, that's coming down through past lives, through family, through religion, through experiences, right? So I'm going to go ahead and run that energy to help you release the shoulds and the rules that are not in your highest and best way. So I'm going to run that energy. If you'd like to receive it, you can, just by saying yes in your mind. It's beautiful because what I'm noticing a lot of purple releasing right now as well as this energy is working, and it's a lot of fear. A lot of what was keeping some of the stuff in the shoulds in place, or expectations or demands, or, you know, was this fear of like, well, what if, you know, if I not trusting self and fear that you wouldn't actually be able to be provided for, or that maybe you've compromised yourself because you're placing you know, I know that I was a single mom, so this is a picture I can relate to. You don't have to be a single mom for this to apply, but like, you know, well, I'll compromise because I need to secure my children, you know, the finances to take care of them, or for, you know, I don't want to let my spouse down, or sometimes it's even for approval of family. But what I was biggest picture that I was noticing was like this releasing of fear of trusting yourself and trusting the process to be able to have it your way. So what it was letting go was this limit, this compromise of, well, this is what I really want, but this is what society says I can have and how I can do it. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of meet here. And so I see that really releasing at that purple, deep purple, black kind of color. All right, let's look at the next layer. So the next layer is, they're all loosely correlated to the chakra. So the sacral chakra is going to be the next layer, which is also really a lot triggered right now. Some of you will be looking at the lower layers here around emotions, an emotional body. Also has a lot to do with your sexual energy, creative energy, financial blocks can be here, you know, a lot of things. Empaths, really processing other people's energy through here. What I'm noticing too is, again, so first thing I'm noticing is like there's a big shift in really acknowledging your feminine energy, your divine feminine energy. Again, whether you're male or female in a body, we all have both. And so there is this deeper awakening of this divine feminine energy that's been coming through this process this entire year for you. And it's a softening. It's a softening, and it's a nurturing. It's an ability of bringing in that vibration of self-love and nurture for yourself that you have, that you are, as very compassionate, empathic beings that you give to others. It's like allowing yourself permission to begin to show that same kind of gentle love and compassion towards self. And what I'm noticing, releasing again, is there's a lot of brown energy. So some of this is just other people's emotions, a lot of grief. I see a lot of sadness and anger. So there's a lot of emotions, I would say, of other people's as well as your own to a degree. And this is sort of where that unconscious, codependent, unhealthy energetic exchange is happening. And so it's part of what I see becoming aware too, is as you're awakening and giving yourself permission, it's almost like two things are happening. Part of it is like releasing that perfectionism self, being hard on yourself, judging yourself, feeling like you should be doing more, placing your attention on everybody else, and like kind of not giving yourself that same pat on the back or that same care that's needed. And maybe in some cases, not even recognizing that permission to really give yourself that, right? There's different levels of that, but that's what I'm seeing there. And then what's letting go is just, the other people's emotions, kind of learning to have that awareness of what's yours, what's not. But even deeper below that, it's this healing agreement, really, that is based in codependency, of this idea that, well, in order to be a good mom or a good spouse or a good this or a good coach or a good, good healer or a good whatever, I have to actually take responsibility and take and fix and help this for them. Otherwise, I'm not really a good friend, or there's just all this energy. And it really comes down to feeling like we have to earn love, or like, what is our part in how we can receive and give more love. That is rooted in codependency. That's not actually helping anyone. And so I see that is where a lot of the energy can get stuck, and where it can create that feeling of apathy or depression or exhaustion or overwhelm, is when you're kind of running in this vibration of trying to take on the world and too much in that way. So just helping you start to say hello to recognizing what is your energy and what is not, and then shifting into that space like we spoke of really being able to be that, elevate your energy, which then inspires others to be able to drop and heal their energy, right? So that is a shift in awareness that's being called to come through. And I see that working at more like a yellow golden color. I think I'm going to run my alignment active. It's a tool called the Christ Light Healing. So I'm going to activate. So if you'd like to receive that, say yes in your mind. I'm going to go ahead and start to run that energy of this Christ Light Healing frequency of this alignment activation now. And I see it really working. I see it really releasing a lot of unconsciousness too. So for some, there's a lot of unconsciousness of where these energy leaks are happening. And for some, there is awareness of how you feel after leaving a certain situation or person or conversation or whatever, but still not quite able to shift holding on to it. And so that's where the programming comes in, like the unconscious healing agreements come in. And so I just see really running this healing through that space, helping you to first flush out other people's emotions, also so that you can recognize your own within it. And then healing at that core root of, what is the fear underneath it? Like, what is keeping this agreement, right? This kind of codependent energetic exchange in place. And oftentimes it is, again, about that idea of this is like how we have to earn love, or this is showing somebody that we care, right? Or whatever that is, but that's still a distorted version and it doesn't help anybody. So I'm just seeing that start to have more clarity and awareness so that you can anchor in more healing light for yourself, and which also helps those around you. So it'll be interesting too, as you start to notice that. I'm going to also run the energy of really bringing soul contract agreements and contracts and things like that into present time. So any agreements that you might have with, again, this is not going to ever sever any love, right? This is only going to be releasing cords and energy so that you can have the awareness of things that are really not working in your highest and best, even with those that you do love, so that you can have a clear communication and a more even balance and exchange of in the relationship. I see where this really allows for you to really open up and really speak your truth, even more authentically, with more certainty, with more courage and vulnerability. Beautiful. So let's just take a peek at the third layer. The third layer, I'm noticing a yellow working. You know what I'm starting to see stepping into here is that is a little bit of that visualization. So this would be a good next step too for everyone really, is to kind of really look into that next level. So what I'm seeing in this yellow vibration, the shift that's being had is really expanding your vision, expanding what you see as your options. So this could be like as the perspective shift is happening. So this could be in different ways for different people, but the bigger picture is like, okay, being able to see a lot, like more possibilities, really being able to see more for yourself, being able to ask for more, being able to believe more is actually possible, and also being able to see, in some ways it's a perspective shift that's happening, to be able to see more opportunities and different ways than maybe you saw before. And a lot of that is in your ability that you're raising, you're receiving, like your self-worth is being, a lot of healing has been going on around your self-worth and what you believe is possible. And so I just noticing a lot of darker green and kind of like an olive green color moving out. And this is where it's like trusting. So surrendering into being able to trust the process. So you get to release control. And this is where some of the people that have like the recovering perfectionism, right? Or like, wanting to control a situation or the house. So there's a lot of like that energy releasing so that you can step into at the core of it is really just bringing in your trusting, healing that ability to trust yourself and to trust the process, which is surrendering the need to control, which is allowing for more possibilities, perspective, and larger visions to actually be possible for you. And that looks really good. Looking at the next layer. The fourth layer, I'm seeing a lavender working, which is, let me look at that energy for a second. There's a lot around, it's interesting because this is loosely correlated to the fourth, your heart chakra, but I see a lot of sovereignty, a lot of healing coming into as you continue to do this deeper inner work that's being called forth through you, a lot of healing worth, a lot of healing in the heart space. But what I'm noticing that purple vibration is like a lot of sovereignty in your power, right? There's a lot of really deciding, hey, I deserve more. I can ask for more because I know I actually see my worth more. And so there's like a healing in your ability to kind of just own your worth. Which is good, which is powerful, because I also see kind of within that requires a boundary shifts or having conversations and, having to do some of the uncomfortable things, whether you've already been working on that or that's to come, right? In order to really own that energy, there are conversations and boundaries on time and like really prioritizing yourself and, making time for those things that are important to you, whether it's writing that book that you've always wanted to write and you haven't been making time for and placing everybody else's needs first, right? Or whether it's, whatever it is, the exercise or meditation or, having some extra support for yourself. Like it can look very different in terms of the way in which you are showing yourself this, but there is a deeper level of like self-love and appreciation and really understanding your own needs. And then within that is like you're being called into allowing yourself that permission to have it. And through that, that's releasing a lot of that other energy that I was speaking to in terms of the limits. So looking at the fifth layer, so let me know how these are going, if this resonates for you in terms of, yes, what you're wanting to step into, what you've thought about creating or what struggles you might be having. I'd love to hear. So looking at the fifth layer, and then we're going to have to move through these probably time-wise. Yeah, getting close. So the fifth layer, I see yellow is working again. This is really about shining your light, speaking your truth. Like I definitely see a call, like stepping into your messenger self, like whatever that is, whether it's in conversation with others, but also I am seeing a lot in terms of really shining your light and like sharing your message at the next level. So I think many of you actually have a desire to really be stepping more fully into your soul's calling or being able to make a bigger impact. And again, that can be with those around us in our immediate space, but it's also for many, I think, on a more global level. And so that is showing that you've been working on a lot of and releasing a lot of fears around speaking your truth, shining your light, receiving judgment, like all of the different things of like the fears that are being held back. And so I see some of them releasing out of brown, white, red. There's lots of energy there. I see a lot of healing work happening or being called to happen around any fear around speaking that truth. So a lot of other people's maybe like almost want to say like male dominated anger, kind of like just projecting into the throat chakra, like shut up, don't say that, like that kind of energy being called to be moved out, as well as just as you're increasing that heart space and that self, like this is who I am. It's really part of that heart stuff, that lavender color in the heart space or the fourth layer is like, this is who I am. Like really even knowing thyself more and having more permission for yourself to just be that is actually showing up in the fifth layer as well now through your communication, through how you're willing to allow people to see you again. So it's like releasing that need of approval or other people's judgments of you. So that's really what you're releasing as you're stepping more into now. You've kind of created this internal landscape of understanding your value more and also understanding yourself more and really maybe having even some value alignments or recognizing where maybe you compromise values, like all these different things are being shown in different ways through relationships and through this year. And now it's being carried into that being ability of like, now it's like, okay, I'm going to be expressing my truth. I'm going to be sharing that. And whether that's through business or through conversation or through boundaries or through whatever, there's just a little bit more ease and willingness to, because that self-worth has been increased, right? And that understanding yourself and your values is like easier to now be said. And that's what you're really being called to have the courage to speak that out and share that out on a bigger level. Again, could be that you're being called now into doing videos and you haven't been able to yet, or vlogging more vulnerably, or having a conversation with somebody that feels private or feels uncomfortable. Like there's just a lot of different personal pictures on that, but that's some of the ways it can look. Looking at the sixth layer, I'm noticing some bright pinks, lots of soft pinks, bright pinks. Actually, it's moving from a soft pink to a bright pink. So I see a lot of white releasing. What that means is I see just more clarity. Like that's an interesting thing too. So part of it is a bigger, a more clear, vivid picture of what you want your life or your business to look like whatever it is you're creating. And what I'm noticing is that this fog of like, a lot of lack of clarity may be letting go, or the clarity, if you had your vision in mind, has probably gotten bigger and more clear and more HD, and you're connecting with the why and the passion, that even like that inspiration could be rejogged. But also for some, it's unconscious energy or inability to take action on it. So for some, it might just be like a more clarity of, yeah, okay, I've known that. And for some people, it's like they didn't know and it's getting more clear. And for some people, it's like, yeah, I've known that. And now I'm starting to actually be able to see the how. Like I'm actually able to, because as you're surrendering the need to control and allowing the trust and allowing that intuitive feminine nature to be able to be more present in your creation experiences, then it's like you're actually able to surrender into allowing, like seeing the possibility of like the steps, right? Like what steps, like light at the end of the tunnel in a sense, is becoming more clear in terms of the actions that can be taken. And I feel like the energy is going to continue to come to be able to take them, because there's a sense of creativity within that, a sense of connection to the enthusiasm of your why and like what that can look like. And now there's this sense of like, I can see, taste, feel, it's there for me. And so all of that combined is just really going to allow you to be able to take more action, it feels like, in that direction, that one or two steps at a time. And so the seventh layer, what I'm noticing working, it's kind of like a yellow orange color sunrise. Looks like a sunrise. It's a new dawn. It's a new dawn. It's like, oh, I'm going to be shining brighter. So there is this level of like resiliency of being proud, like shining your light, but like being even more like secure in yourself. I want to say there's an air of like confidence within this energy of like a confidence of like stepping out and like being, and in some ways there's a lot of pictures that are being released and let go of in this area, grayish white, around, being weird, being different, like stepping out of whether it's the spiritual closet or the, whatever it is, like there's just been like a little bit of hiding, right? And that's sort of, again, coming back to that fear of people's judgment or being too weird or too woo or too this or too that. And through that whole like evolution of really stepping more certainty like into your sovereign self, it is actually just allowing you to be proud, like be more like, I'm going to stand loud and proud with my woo and who I am and what I am, like being more, it's like there's more permission to actually express your higher, to be seen, right? And expressing yourself and being seen in the world and having a level of attention. And so part of that is like, as you begin to learn that energetic mastery for yourself, there is like a lot of those visibility fears or what's being called to be released, healed, or are being released and healed, depending on where you're at on that. So that you can feel safe in your body and actually just feel comfortable and know all is well by you just being you and showing up as you in your exuberance and in your way, even though it may not resonate with everybody. That's okay, because that deeper sense of love for self and deeper acceptance and deeper clarity of who you are without all the programming and expectations of others is getting more and more and more clear. And so it's just starting to be able to be emulated, which is awesome, because that is actually now starting to call in and attract the people, places, opportunities, teachers, mentors, friends, soul family, partners, romantic, otherwise, all different types of the people can now see you. So you'll actually feel more validated. You'll feel more seen. You'll feel more heard. That reciprocation of this significant shift in your ability to love yourself and express yourself and be expressed is actually calling in people that can admire, love, and reciprocate you and reflect that back to you at that level. So it's sort of healing this this energy of not feeling understood or not feeling accepted for who you are. That's really the call of like what's being released in that layer. So I'm just going to go ahead and run the energy one more time. If you'd like to kind of receive that energy, I'm just going to run the Christ light healing. See Archangel Metatron coming in, working with a quick balancing of your chakras, like kind of just moving through your energy field of like anything that has gotten stirred up through my communication to you, and helping you really release what you're ready to let go of. See a lot of family programming being released out of the genetic entity space, kind of at the back of the neck and head there. I'm going to also run my alignment of balancing the feminine and masculine energy. So your own feminine and masculine energies. And then I'm going to run one more activation, which is really integrating this new growth and just spiritual growth into your body. So just really helping you anchor in this new energy into your physical and all the different layers of your physical and energetic body. As that's running through, you can start to just really embody your light even more, really calling forward your higher self, calling all of your energy into your entire field, all the way anchoring down into your Earth Star chakra beneath your feet, and really anchoring into that crystalline grid of Gaia. And take another nice deep breath in. And when you feel complete, you can go ahead and open your eyes. Beautiful. All right. So how was that for you guys? I'd love to hear. Did that resonate? Awesome. Maribel says, that was me showing that orange. Awesome. Awesome. The orange resonated for you. I think it probably would resonate with a lot of you guys. I'd love to hear how does it make sense? What are you working on releasing? Yes, I've been working hard on releasing. I agree. Awesome. Beautiful, beautiful. See on Facebook here. Do you guys have any questions? Yes, I felt the releasing. Awesome. Beautiful. The 7th chakra release was so much for me and really awesome. Thank you. You're welcome, Kristen. Beautiful. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I think it's a really powerful shift. And, and when we're reading the energy that way, there's power because it's like I'm sharing information from my higher self to your higher self. And then we're also going to communicate some of the energy here, but so much more is actually happening. And so you'll just notice your awareness of those things that maybe you're like, yeah, I want that, but I'm not feeling that yet, right? What I'm seeing is the energy that you are creating as a spirit. Everything starts as energy first. So on a spiritual level, That's what's being created and generated. And at different levels, people will have been seeing that into their experience. And then some may have a little bit more to go. So really just like shining a light on, hey, you are a powerful creator, I should say. You are the creator of your experience. And this is what you're actually creating. This is actually your frequency. This is actually what's working for you. And that's not really you. I know it can feel like we can get caught up in it. I know that feels real. I know that sometimes we can lose ourselves within it, but that's actually not you. And so just in that exchange of communication or just looking at the energy clairvoyantly creates and elicits a shift immediately, which is really, really powerful. So that's why I love that style of healing, because the energy shift happens pretty immediate. And so it'll be interesting to notice too, as the weeks or, the days or week goes on, what epiphanies, ahas, and awarenesses have you started to recognize around stepping into this more? Because that's really what it creates is an opening, right? It creates an easier opening to step into, which is really powerful. So you can always come back and comment on either hit reply to an email if you're on my email, or if you're getting this on Facebook, you can write that there in the comments, wherever you're seeing this. So beautiful. Well, I think that is about where we're at today. I want to just share again, if you guys are interested in the Energetic Mastery course, that is really a powerful, powerful tools. I know many of the people that have been taking it, I've been getting emails lately, especially this new enhanced version where there's these activations that go with it and some new tools that have been enhanced, and you get to be attuned to that ground align connect healing, so that you can really just run that vibration for yourself anytime you want to help amplify and expand that pillar for you, but also just the ability to really find your sovereignty, find your energy, unmatch the collective, ground your frequency. It's like helping you raise your vibration and really become that conscious creator. I also have a module that's a bonus, it's a new module that created just for this round, which is around communication, really helping you to set the energy of your communication as well. So those of you that just got it, be a lookout. I'll let you guys know when that's actually released. And that's new from the people that bought it last to what's now, but everybody's going to get access to it. So it's a 5th module. So that is really exciting, as well as, I don't know, all those inner child healing classes are really powerful as well. People gave me lots of amazing feedback on the types of deep healing that happened through that as well. You're welcome, Maribel. Okay, so let me know if you have any questions. I hope that was powerful for you. I hope that I'd love to hear your favorite insights. So if you want to share with me any of your favorite insights, or what comes up for you, or what next step you're going to take from our time together, what really resonated with you in terms of food for thought, even, I'd love to hear and just celebrate with you, because awareness is our gold, and awareness is the currency of where we can really step into our power and create change on anything that we want. I truly believe that we are always able to pivot if we don't like what was in our experience, if we are not happy with where our life is or what's being created. As soon as we have that awareness and take that personal responsibility, we're able to shift, like get curious, well, how can I and really allow yourself to ask, how can I align with this instead? You'll start to be guided there, and it just really requires us to be in that higher awareness that we want to make the change, that we have the power to make the change, and then choosing to make the change, right? Choosing to take those steps and really trust our intuition. I can't believe that I dozed off here. Really powerful and amazing. Oh, you can listen to it again, right? You'll get the replay here. If you signed up and you registered, you'll get the replay as well. So, all right. Well, thank you for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking with you soon.